on.
You ready, man?
Hey.
Hello, everybody. What's going on, man?
What? Yes.
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're glad to have you back with us. If you're watching, please tell your friends to subscribe and hit the bell and all that happy stuff. We are unranked and unhinged. Unranked and unhinged. Yeah, see, we got it.
Yeah, we got it. To unranked and unhinged, the handicaps are high and the expectations are low.
That's right.
There we go. How's that one?
That'll work. That'll work. Awesome. Well, quick recap. Gino played in the tournament Sunday for the APT.
I did. Everybody.
Yay,
Sure.
That's the only way I can remember the order that it goes is I look at Gene's chest.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. APT on Sunday. We were in Harrison, Tennessee, which is not too far from Chattanooga.
Oh, cool.
Pretty good drive. I'll tell you this. So somewhere down that way, the time changes.
I was going to say here.
Yeah. The time changes and it
Oh,
goes in the central time.
Yep.
Well, I think there's a Harrison Bay State Park,
Yeah.
which I think is in central time, but the golf course is in eastern time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the whole time that morning, I'm thinking central time.
Yeah.
I set my time, like what time I want to leave home, and so we're driving down, and my time hasn't changed on my phone. When we're supposed to get there, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think we're in Eastern time.
Oh, wow.
So I had 11:50 tee time. I rolled in 11:30.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
I rolled in 11:30. With these bones of mine, I like to warm up a little bit, but we have a saying back in the day, roll out the car to get them.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did.
Wow.
I did get, 3 or 4 shots on the range, but probably 3 or 4 times, and we're gonna go tee off.
Dang,
So,
that's rough. Well, speaking of that, how did you do?
So I finished 5th
Awesome.
this week. Not my best day, but considering the weather, it was in the low 30s.
Ooh.
It was cold, which, the day before on Saturday, it was in the 60s. Super nice day, and I heard the weather report, it was going to be flurries. I'm like, no, it's not going to be flurries. Well, later on, it would be flurries.
Wow.
So,
But that was rough.
I had I think last time I said I had a pullover on, had my golf shirt, and had another pullover, but this time I had a heated vest.
Oh, that's cool. I have one of those for my motorcycle.
Yeah, man, it works great. I kind of took it on and off throughout the day.
Yeah.
When I got, kind of cold, I throw it on, put the heat on. Yeah, I finished 5th. There was, again, met some good people. One guy I had played with before. But it was good. I finished 5th, and I was happy with it considering the conditions.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you're kind of getting a little bit more posse together.
Yeah.
Some people that you can talk to.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's making a lot of fun. Getting to know people, especially people you played with before. But I'm taking a break for a couple weeks. Just kind of rest and relax. And, we put a lot of miles on the car in about 3 weeks, so we're going to take.
Does that do anything to like your standing or whatever?
No. So what I've done in the past, I would play an East Tennessee chapter tournament, and then I'll find another tournament in between those. There'd be one, and then 2 weeks later, there'd be another East Tennessee.
Gotcha.
But I always try to find something in between there, is that way I play every week.
Okay.
So our next East Tennessee tournament is not till March 7th, which is, two weekends.
About 2 weekends.
So, normally I would find something for this weekend and play, but, I'm going to take some time off and just kind of
Rest those old bones.
heal a little bit. And but I tell you, I'm excited. Bart and I talked about before we got started tonight that he may be able to go with me on the trip to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach tournaments.
So it's going to be, I think it's a 2-day tournament. So we'll be there for 3 or 4 days. And
Love it.
we're going to do a podcast at the beach.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Dude, that's going to be awesome.
It'll be really cool, especially if we can get all this stuff mobile so that we can do it like on the beach.
Dude, I think we can absolutely try it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what the wind will do with our microphones, but
Get them big furry things.
big furry ones, yeah, dude. I mean, we'll find a couple chairs and set up. And,
Oh my gosh.
goodness, man!
That would be awesome.
We may do two.
That would be great.
We might do one on the beach, maybe one at the golf course or the camper, or
Yeah.
But I think on the beach, like Bart said, I think that's pretty exciting.
And can you imagine all the people walking by? They'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Podcast. Come on over here. We'll talk to you."
Come on over. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
We'll ask you questions.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's at the end of the month. We've got everything set up, and
I'm looking forward to it.
pretty excited about it for you to go with me. But yeah, man. So I think tonight, we're gonna, do a little something different. Also, we want to talk about the tournament I just had and kind of give you a little highlight what happened. But tonight, we're going to talk about golfing and fishing.
Well, I will have to say, I'll give you an update on my fishing. It ain't happening. Good grief. I mean, there may have been a couple of days where I could have squeaked something in, but man, it's, the weather here, I'd say a lot of people are real close to us listening, but some people might not be. Like Gene said the other day, one day it's 60 and the next day it's 30. And, one day it's bright sunny skies and you're thinking, man, this feels great. And the next thing you know, it's spitting snow, and by the end of the night you got 2 inches of snow.
So that kind of brings up a little statement or maybe a question, talking about, where I played golf in 32-degree weather. What's your thoughts on fishing in 32-degree weather? I know you've got creek bank, and I know you've got lake fishing, and some other stuff you can do. For this sake, let's say lake fishing.
Okay, if we go out on the boat, believe it or not, I have actually been fishing before out on the lake and cast a lure and skip across the ice. And there's times that it's very, I don't know. I guess the big difference between golfing in a tournament in bad weather and fishing in bad weather is, I'm just fishing. I could say, well, this sucks, I'm going home. And pack it all up and go, whereas you can't. Now, there are tournaments in fishing. And so I would say somebody feels the same way. They're like, man, if I'm out here in a tournament, I'm going to tough it out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If it was just pleasure fishing or pleasure golfing, we can absolutely just say, you know what, man, it's too cold. I'm going home, but tournament golf, tournament fishing, it's kind of like, I guess you have to kind of stick it out. Maybe if you want to. I mean, you already spent the money for the entry fee.
Like you do with your APT, some of these fishing tournaments have a pretty steep buy-in, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch these tournaments, but to me, that's not fun. And I don't want to be pressured in fishing. To me, fishing is relaxing. Is that a word? I made up another word, Gene.
Man,
relaxing.
What was the first one? We need to write these down.
Oh, the first one was so stupid. It was not even a real word. I'll remember it. But y'all have to go back and look at our first one. Yeah, I said it twice. Not only stupid once, but I said it twice. So, but yeah, fishing to me is relaxing, and that's what I want it to be. So if it gets to the point where it's not relaxing or I'm uncomfortable, it depends on where you are. If you're at the lake, on the boat, it depends on the boat. If you're on a nice float boat, got a good top and maybe sides, well, shit, you just go kick back in the back and get you a beverage.
Yeah.
And wait for the rain to stop or whatever. But if you're in an open boat, you're out there, it's kind of miserable, maybe it starts raining and it's cold, you just pack it up and go home.
Pack it up and go home.
Yeah.
I remember one of the last few times I fished with our buddy, Kelly, you know, we were at South Wilson Lake, and you know, here we are fishing, and it looked like it's getting a little dark, not because of the nighttime, but because of the storms and rain. So him and I, we looked at the radar. There's a storm below us and a storm above us, and we're fishing in the middle of that thing. You know, we're like, it's nice here, and our wives called, and they're like, so you guys coming home? Why?
Why?
We're fishing, but
well, now I will say this also. I remember you and Kelly at the office times, and you all would be like, "Hey, look, we got a little window. We can get 9 holes in. If we can play in 1 hour and 42 minutes."
Man, we did that several times.
Several times. I remember so many times y'all were, "Okay, we got a window. Let's go."
It was funny because we would he'd either come to my office or I go to his office, and we'd just, you know, look at the watch and we're like,
We got a window.
we got a window, let's go. And
Yeah.
we'd take off.
So yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, I have, back to this, I have fished in some really nasty conditions, cold, rain, ice on the water, but it's not clean.
Right.
And you know, the only reason that I stayed as long as I did for several of those was if we were on like a fishing trip or we go somewhere and just, you know, you just think, gotta get that fish, gotta get it in. And so you'll push yourself to do things and fish in conditions that you normally would.
I can see that. I guess if you guys went to, I guess, Alabama probably.
Yeah, I used to go to Alabama quite a bit, to South Carolina.
So I guess, you know, that's a pretty good trip, you know, to drive and have a little, I don't know, which we need to get into the planning the fishing trip sometime. But I guess when you travel that far, like you just said, you know, you put it, you will, I lost the word.
You will have a beautiful eyes.
Beautiful eyes. But you'll take time and spend out there, like, rather than if you was home, like say you just pack up and leave.
Yeah. And that too, similar to golf, you can make your packing up and leaving very difficult in fishing, or you can make it very easy. Like when we would go on these fishing trips, we tried our very best. We would rent a house that had a dock, and so, you know, if it started to come rain, or it was so convenient that we would use it if we had to go to the bathroom. It's like, man, I gotta pee. Let's run back. You know, because all you had to do is just run back in, pull up to the dock. Usually one or the other of us will hop out and head to the bathroom, and the other one would just be fishing.
Fishing at those dock.
Yeah. And so it was so handy. So, you know, it was a great thing to make. Could have made a bad situation worse. Like if we were staying in a place where we had to, you know, take the boat to the ramp and get it off the trailer, and then what do you do if you come back?
Yeah.
So you would hate to like load up the whole boat and have to drive somewhere just to go back.
Yeah, that's not that awful. So, you know, we got a little printout tonight.
Yeah, we've had some stuff that we never followed.
Yeah, we never follow. We always say, hey, let's talk about this, and a lot of times we just wing it.
I know, and
Just because we talk about such cool stuff.
what do I do? Oh, cool. So the first part of this is actually hoping whatever you picked up on the microphone.
Yeah.
It's all right. We just figured out we don't know the audio thing yet. So
Yeah.
if you all are listening to this and the first part of this, you're going, why do they sound so crappy? It's because we're hoping to pick it up off of the microphone.
Yeah. So,
these.
and the reason I noticed is,
Timing.
I wanted to see how long
we've been talking.
Yeah.
You know, what's really bad is I looked at it earlier and I was like, I wonder where that timer is. Did Gene take that off? I mean, what the heck? Does it only come up certain times? Because, yeah, I remember seeing the timer. Well, now I know. Now we both know.
Yeah, now we know. But, yeah, we'll do our best to get the audio pulled out. And
I mean, it's got to be on there, right?
Yeah, I think it is on there. And we'll we'll do some editing.
So sorry. And you may want to put a little disclaimer at the beginning that the audio is a little wonky.
Yeah.
Hey, we're new at this. This is just like number 7, 8,
This is number 9.
9. I can't count either.
Yeah. Oh well, it happens, and
Yeah, you always got to have technical difficulties. You see that on national television.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they
true.
screw up.
Yeah.
Like when Justin Timberlake whooped off the
Oh, yeah.
brassiere of
Janet Jackson.
Yeah. And, technical difficulty.
Well, I guess the good thing is if there's no audio, we can just put whatever we want in it.
Oh, you could dub in like
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yes.
We could. I like it. Yeah.
Looks like we're eating chicken wings
Looks
again.
like we're eating chicken wings. Oh man, those chicken wings were good. That's some good chicken wings. All right, so let's look at our paper here and see what we got.
So one thing I want to ask you.
Please do.
So we're talking fishing and golfing tonight, guys. So if a scratch golfer and a pro fisherman for 1 year to train the other sport, so a fisherman went to training golf, a golfer went to fishing.
Yes.
Who succeeds faster?
The golfer. And I'm a fisherman saying that.
So you think you can train in 1 year?
A golfer could get trained to do what a pro fisherman does in a year.
Okay.
And I say that, will they be, at the same level? Probably not. But there are so many resources that are available, and pro fishing doesn't rely on as much hand-eye coordination as golfing does. Okay. I mean, you could give somebody a year, and I'm talking about somebody that's never played golf before,
right?
Not some college golfer that turned a pro fisherman. I'm talking about somebody that just really hadn't even picked up a club.
Yeah, I guess is it consistent?
They could be a natural.
Yeah.
But even natural golfers aren't at a pro level.
No.
And I mean, if you ever sat down and do the math on like the face angle of a golf club and all the things that have to go into that to make that do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's all in your body.
Yeah.
Some people just would never get it. I mean, would never be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for a long time. It's still, I mean, we have to practice, whether it's range session or what, but.
Fishing practice is much more fun.
Yeah.
Well, and so, and I'm not downgrading the professional fisherman. All I'm saying is that, there are so many reports. Like you decide I want to go to a lake, and there are fishing reports of people who have fished it previously. And that's not something you really get at a golf course.
Right.
You can't go online and pull up something and say, hey, what's the best way to play Clear Creek? Right. And they'll say, okay, now, hole number 1, you need to stay to the right of so-and-so. You need to go to the left. If you hit a 100-yard shot, it needs to be here. And you don't get that.
Is it, as far as fishing, is it depending on what you're fishing for or what you want to fish for?
It is. And I mean, fishing really depends on, what you're targeting. Yeah. But, when you talk about like sport fish, which to me is, bass and somewhat crappie, some of the bigger fish that we don't have around here. But, you can always use someone else's previous knowledge about what they used for bait, what time they fished, when the fish were biting better than others, and, lure selection, all of that. And you can basically follow that from just pulling that stuff offline. Yeah. And I don't think you could ever get that in golf. I mean, you may go online and pull up a golf YouTube video that shows you how to do this and do that and do that.
Right.
But still,
But until you actually do it and, you know, and be consistent at it.
yeah, it's rough. So yeah, I would, my vote is for that a golfer would be able to learn how to fish at a high level in a year quicker than a fisherman who has not golfed to play golf at a high level in a year.
And I'll agree with that. You know, and again, it's not knocking fishermen because I do enjoy fishing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, I think it's the consistent and the variables of golfing. You know, because you're swinging a club trying to hit a 2-inch diameter ball.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I will say, you know, fishing, you don't know whether the fish are or not. Well, you can have a fish finder.
You can have fish finder. You can have, and that's the thing. You know, you can go online and get a fishing report that says, you know, hey, so and so creek where it comes in has been really producing, you know, some good smallmouth bass or whatever, and you can basically go, okay, sorry, okay, I'm going to go there, and you know, you can do that, but somebody can tell you. You know, I do so much better on my hitting my irons if my thumb is on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and it's like, it ain't doing a thing for me.
Yeah. I will say, like, as far as fishing, you know, it's kind of the unknown. You know, you know, I don't use Fish Finder like some of the guys do.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
And I've seen some fancy ones. Kelly had one.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of the unknown and the excitement. What could come up and bite? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out and not catch anything, just not biting that day.
Right.
But you know, golfing, you know, you're still hitting it, and you might shoot 100, but you know, you're still playing. But I think, you know, fishing, it just seems exciting to what potential.
Yeah.
Could bite.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next question. What we got now?
Let's see. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we've talked about how that so far I got to find a way that fishermen are better than golfers. I'm reading here. Sorry.
So I know you do while you're reading.
Yeah.
Let me say this.
Please.
And you're a fisherman and a golferman.
I'm a golferman.
A golferman? Wait a minute.
Gene made a new word now.
A golferman.
Yes, a golferman. I'm a golferman.
I know you
I'm a fisherman and a golferman.
When I grow up, I want to be a golferman.
I want to be a golferman. I love it, man. That's awesome.
So you know, you do both. You fishing and golf.
Yes, I do.
Where I am kind of more on golf. You know, I do fishing, but you've done both of those for a long time.
Yeah.
If a 15 handicap golfer says he can dominate a bass tournament, what position do you think he's fishing, or what position is he going to finish in?
Just based
comparing, you know, a 15 handicap. I don't know if that makes sense, not, but
yeah. But I mean, are you saying that he's not fished before, or a 15 handicap?
So
in relation to all the people in that tournament, you know, he is basically a 15 handicap. I would consider like a medium level.
Exactly. Yes.
Fisherman. Mm-hmm. So the thing is similar to golf. A fisherman always has the ability to catch a big fish.
Perfect. That's
a
great statement.
And so a medium handicap fisherman, we'll say, can still hook, a monster fish as easy as the best fisherman there in the tournament or the worst fisherman in that tournament. He has as much. It's a level playing field as far as the fish.
Right.
Now he can screw up and not get the fish out like he should, or put too much pressure on the fish, and not keep the line tight. There's so many things that he can go wrong. But if there's a good hook set, he can get that fish in, and it can win a tournament.
I guess that's one of them. And I think on both sports, it's beginner's luck. You know, if you look at it as beginner's luck, since we're saying a 15 handicap can go out and have a hole in one.
Yeah.
And if he's fishing, he can go out and win a tournament because he just got lucky
because his presentation was.
Or he was in the right place at the right time. Because, they always say that, 100% of the fish are in 10% of the locations.
Mm.
And so as long as you find that location and you present accordingly, you can catch a fish. But, I mean, I look at that as compared to how many medium level golfers have a hole in one.
Yeah.
So there again, golfing's more difficult.
Well, and maybe that wasn't, a super great question, but
no, I think it was. I mean,
kind of compare, but yeah, that I think you answered that great.
Hey, I did good. Yay. But, I think there was one thing down there you talked about gear.
Oh.
And, that is a thing that I guess any time that you're invested in a hobby and you really want to go out and participate and do things, it takes the right equipment. I mean, and not only that, but you get this mindset of, I have to have the good equipment. Don't have to have the best equipment because, I don't know, even in golf equipment and fishing, I think that there's a level of eliteness to gear.
Mm.
I mean, we talked about this before about the cost of stuff.
Right.
I can never imagine myself, no matter how good of a fisherman I am, spending over $1,000 on a reel and then another $1,000 for a rod to go with it.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I know that I can get $100 reel that will perform just as well and do everything that I need it to do. So
I was talking about buying gear.
Yeah, buying gear.
So let me speak on the golfer side. I don't go out and buy, the flashy, the newest clubs.
Right.
It's always a year, year or two behind because obviously price wise.
Yeah.
In a golfer's mindset, if I can't hit this club straight, and and I know I'm doing everything I possibly can, well, maybe it's time for a new club. Maybe this one is just. I know it's not worn out, but it's just time for something new.
All the luck's gone out.
There you go. All that's left is, well, if you hit bad shots, all the good shots are still left. It should be, but
yeah.
But do you see at any time like, well, this fishing pole is just
that's not that awful.
Yeah. Now, and the reason I say that is because there's certain things that do wear on a fishing pole. The eyelets,
oh yeah,
and especially if you're using braided line is very abrasive, and the eyelets kind of weaken over time. So yeah, you could have a problem there. If you've really used a pole a lot, the more you flex something, the more the easier it gets.
okay.
And so the more you flex a fishing pole, it's going to start losing some of its stiffness.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So you can do that. As far as reels, you can wear out drags.
Okay.
The drags are just stacked like washers and felt and stuff like that. And that's how that they, the more of those you get, the better your drag is, which is one of the most, is the most important thing on a reel is drag. You can wear out some bearings or bushings,
Right.
and things may get loose. So yeah, you can do that. But as far as just saying, I've worn out this fishing pole.
I guess just saying like, well, this pole's not catching anything. I need to go buy me a new one.
Nah. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
A fisherman, I've got poles that are 30 years old.
Yeah.
And, there's really not been, like in golf, there's a big difference. You all have a technological breakthrough, every year. There's some new, this one is, the new thin face and,
which blows my mind. Like, what new material has been discovered?
Yeah, pretty soon they're going to be made out of something we ain't never heard of.
Yeah, where'd that come from? Well, there's a mine. We've been mining this stuff for 20 years.
Yeah.
And we finally turned it into a golf club.
But see, for fishing, no. Believe it or not, the biggest and the only technological stuff is this electronics, is the fish finders and stuff. As far as the rod and reel, there's still old Mitchell open face, spinning reels that just do exactly what you need them to do. And
yeah, well, so, getting into with you guys fishing, lake fishing, having all these poles that you take with you, it took me a little bit, but I understood why.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, there's 10 or 12 you take with you, but when Kelly and I would go, I only took 3 because that's all I had.
3's a good number.
And, but Kelly, he'd have.
3 is a magic number.
That's right. 3 is the magic number. Kelly would always have 4 or 5. And early on, before I started taking 3, I'm like, okay, I'll just tie another hook on or another lure on. But I found out, like, okay, I want to have a top water on this one.
Yeah.
And maybe have a crankbait on one or, maybe a worm, whatever. But,
yeah. And it's a lot easier that way if you have the space to put the poles and you have all that. I mean, we even talked about that as far as, if you've got the boat that you store your rods in, one-piece rods are great. Mm-hmm. But if you've got to travel with them, trying to put them in your car, a 7 or 8 foot rod in your car is very difficult. So, what were we talking about?
Rods on a boat. How many we take?
Oh yeah, and the other thing I was thinking about is technological advancements.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I ever really kind of went, that actually worked. And believe it or not, it was when we were on a beach trip. It was one of the first golf trips we'd gone on. And you all both had those sliders.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were hitting balls at the simulator, and I watched, and you all, both of you, were consistently doing the same thing, and you made a change, and then you consistently did something else, and that's really the first time that I ever thought, well, that piece of equipment's making a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can hit one iron and another iron, this one's got a cavity back, this one's got this one's got that, perimeter weighting, and this.
Yeah.
And I never really saw any marked difference. But sitting and watching you all consistently change and then consistently keep it doing the thing that you changed to do, I was impressed.
Well, the equipment has advanced quite a bit. Everybody doesn't swing the same. We all have different body types. We're small or tall, heavier, skinny, or whatever. And that slider came out. I have a certain swing that I've had for years, and I really liked that club. So, but as a standard club, it didn't fit me.
Yeah. So
I think you was watching us tweak these clubs. That's basically self-fitting.
Yeah.
If I had the money and want to buy any driver, I would go get fitted at a golf club or somewhere, and they could have one made for me based on my swing. But this club was kind of a self-fitting club, and then I was impressed because I'd always been very skeptical about the technological advances of golf clubs because it's every year it's always something new, and I always was like, okay, maybe you get a little difference, but no, I was that was the one time where I went, okay, that is showing a difference that I can actually see. Yeah, you can see the results. I'll tell you, the one thing that I feel like on fishing has the advantage is electronics. If I'll speak on our rangefinders, they have slopes, for elevation up and down, and what else is there? It's up and down. I think with electronics on a fishing boat, cameras always get better.
Oh gosh,
You know,
it's showing things now that just blow your mind.
Yeah, you're gonna give me a new rangefinder. It's gonna give me 1 yard more accuracy. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, how can you improve on that? And
Yeah.
that's a question that I have real quick. I know it's sidebar from what we're talking about, but do you, I mean, when you notice a slope, does that change kind of the way a distance?
mhm.
Okay.
Yep. So if you are, let's take a par three for instance. It's easier to talk about.
Okay.
If the tee box is elevated and green's down below, and it's say 175 yards, you shoot the scope 175 yards straight, meaning no slope.
Slope.
Yeah, but with the slope, it's 160,
Huh.
155. You know, if there's a 15 yard, 20 yard difference, that means I'm going to club down, meaning I'm going to go from probably a 7-iron down to an 8-iron.
Wow.
And
See, you know, to me, it just seems like distance would be distance, and that's the great thing about fishing. Water's level.
Water's level.
It's
Yeah.
always level.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there, it's the same height it is over there. So,
and on the other side of that, if it's a par three and the green is elevated,
yeah.
and I shoot, 175, but the slope says 190 because it's up higher.
I can kind of see the up high makes more sense
Yep.
to me.
So I've got to club up a little bit. So probably going to go to probably a 6-iron, maybe even stretch it to a 5-iron or something like that.
Wow. See that? I guess that's the big difference, and one of the big differences between golf and fishing is, just knowing not only what your ball needs to do, but what it could possibly do after because once you hit it, you're out of the equation.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, unless you could come up with a little remote control ball, basically once you hit it, it's on its own. And, if it hits and rolls and whatever.
Well, it's funny you say that because Saturday we was talking about the tournament, or Sunday, excuse me. The guy I was playing with hit an iron shot, great shot, and there's a bunker in front of the green. And remember the segment we were talking about where you placed a rake?
Yeah.
We had a situation.
Wow.
The rake was the rake part was in the bunker and the handle was sticking out.
Yeah.
The guy hit the rake and shot it probably 20 yards to the left. It turned it into like it's going to be a great shot on the green.
Yeah.
To where he is probably 30 yards off the green having a chip.
And there's nothing
you can do about it. Nothing absolutely you can do anything about it. But our scopes, the only thing you can do is just get cooler scopes, like digital.
I guess.
There's some digital ones. But yeah, I would say just on that part, the electronics on fishing is top notch.
Well, I noticed too that it seems like tour players don't use all of the gadgets.
No, because they can't.
Okay, so what can you use that they can't?
I can use a scope. They can't use one. They can't have any digital yardage reader to help them pinpoint the flag.
Okay.
So they have to go out. They're caddy. Now these caddies work.
Oh yeah.
They have to go out. They'll get a book. It has pin placements for the tournament, but they'll have to go out and see where the pins are. They have an idea of how far their player hits the ball.
Yeah.
So, like, if they hit a driver, it's 300 yards. Well, they'll go out. There's markers in the fairway still. Some kind of yardage.
Yeah.
Like they still do here.
Yeah.
So if there's a 300-yard marker in the fairway, and let's say he hits it past that, well, what I see the caddies doing is going to that 300-yard marker and stepping it off. How much closer?
Oh wow.
It is. So if it's if he hit it 300 exactly and he's got 150 in, and on another note, if he hits it 310,
he knows
that
he
means
can
he's
really pinpoint his distance.
so he's got 140 because this caddy will. That's the part about not using a scope.
Well, I think, and that corresponds back with fishing. I don't use electronics. I unless I'm with somebody that is actually using it, I don't use it myself. So what I tend to do is try to figure out what's underwater by what's outside the water. And I say that because imagine if if there was water that completely covered a golf hole, and you couldn't see, all you could see was the banks coming down into it and maybe trees sticking up out of it. And, you could tell by the way that the sides of the banks came down, where typically the middle of this fairway would be.
Yes.
And that's kind of the different, that's kind of what we do with fishing is I base my ideas on what's underneath the water by what I can see on top of the water. And like I said, that is just me without electronics.
Yeah.
If you've got electronics, you run the boat through and it'll tell you everything possible.
Oh, wow.
But by looking at the surroundings, you can kind of tell what type of bottom it'll be. If it's steep, if it slopes off, if it's going to be mud, if it's going to be rock. You can tell a lot of that just by what's sticking out of the water.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. But yeah, that's I hope you guys got some out of this stuff. But
yeah, we've been having fun. And sorry about the early on audio.
Yeah,
we think that this has been about an hour.
Well, since I found out it wasn't recording, we have been talking for 28 minutes.
For 28 minutes, almost half an hour.
And I know we had talked for at least 15 minutes before we noticed it.
Yeah, at least.
If not 20.
Yeah, because our camera kicks off at half an hour. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We're pretty good. I love it.
So I'll say that on the golfing side, golf teaches us patience. We grind. We have to go get through the bad holes.
Yeah.
And, we understand the delayed gratification,
Yeah. But there again, you think about how many people who play golf that are not patient.
That are absolutely not.
And they, once it starts down a bad path, they fixate and they go really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Fishing, I can imagine if you were in a tournament that, it would be very hectic and, patience would kind of be out the window because you are timed.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't get to, I don't know if you guys are timed.
Well, kind of yes and no. We don't have like how long it should take us to play 18, but we can't be too far behind the group in front of us.
Okay.
We have to stay on pace.
Gotcha.
And it's just kind of help keep the tournament move along. Even professional, even pro golfers have a time limit for each hole.
Okay.
If not for us, we have to. They'll warn us, and if we don't pick it up, everybody in that group will get like a stroke penalty.
Oh wow!
So it's really important. The one thing I was telling you about, we keep live scoring.
Yeah.
There's always a guy designated for the 3-minute rule. Like if somebody hits one left or right, and you get 3 minutes as soon as you get to that ball or where you think it went in.
Yeah.
You get 3 minutes to look for it.
Oh wow!
And there's always a kind of a guy. We kind of give them a few minutes. We're amateurs. We're not pros. So we'll kind of stretch out to 5 minutes. But you have to kind of pick it up. And
I know that we kind of touched a little bit on the difference rules in between pro golf and what you all do, but isn't there like some rule at the professional level that says that one golfer can't like assist another one? Like if you were somewhere and you saw somebody's ball, you couldn't go, "Hey, your ball's over there."
I'm not sure about the ball, and I'm sure that's in a rule. That's a great question. I'll look it up. But I do know pro golfers can't ask the other golfer, "Hey, what did you hit?"
Okay.
Like if we're on a tee box or in a fairway, and this you can't, realistically.
Did you hit a 7? Why did you hit a 7 on that last?
Realistically, you can't say, "Hey, what are you hitting here?"
Wow.
But now the caddies, the cool thing about the caddies, they don't tell anybody what they're hitting, but for as TV appearances, there's hand signals that it relays back to the camera people that's doing the camera.
Yeah, like the announcers
Yeah,
and stuff.
that way they know what this person's hitting.
Oh, how cool.
I did see some of those, but I don't know exactly what they all are. They'll do this, maybe a 4-iron, a 3-iron. And,
well, how cool.
It's pretty neat. And that's, because it was always, I remember watching golf years ago, like, how does he know he's hitting a 7-iron?
Yeah.
He's not out there. And then as time went on, I found out that's how the caddies were telling them.
Well, if you want to see absolute chaos with no patience and no anything, watch a professional bass tournament. Those guys, number one, they're on the clock. They have a certain amount of time before that they have to be back at the dock and they have to present their catch.
Right.
And those guys are frantic.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no calmness. It is, they are frantic is the best way that I can put it. And like when they miss a fish, oh my gosh, it's just devastating to them. And so, as far as I don't know what the big difference, between golf and fishing. I
guess you lip out an eagle.
Well, yeah.
You lip out an eagle putt.
I mean, like us at a recreational level, not in a tournament. Yeah, fishing, I would say, is super relaxing, and you patience is you learn patience. You don't have. I will say you don't have to learn patience because you go into fishing being patient.
Right. Well, I say we're patient, but we also lose our minds after we lip one out. It's like we blame the putter or blame the clubs, but that I guess that's not necessarily patience, but I don't exaggerate my emotions too much on the course. Now it's frustrating when you lip one out.
Oh yeah.
But you just try to go on to the next one.
I can see not being in a tournament and being somewhere with 3 of your buddies, and you lip one out, and they start giving you hell and buckets over it, laughing at you. That makes it different. That kind of brings that, I don't know, competitive level down a little bit.
Yeah.
Answer that question, I think that the patience level depends upon the level of competition.
Yeah. I think so.
If you're out there playing golf by yourself, you can be as patient as you want. You can take time, you can think about your shot as long as you're not being pushed by somebody. And same thing if you were fishing, if you're just out there by yourself, you're just relaxed. Yeah. It's just a relaxing thing.
You're fishing, not catching.
That's right. And that's my thing. There's fishing and catching fish, and I'm happy doing both.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think, so see if you can agree with this. So fishing patience, you have 3 hours. If it's no bites, are you still calm? Or is it just, are you still calm because you can't actually see what is not under there or what you may have missed?
Well, I will say this for me personally. There have been times that I've gone fishing and haven't caught anything. And I've never got back in the car or the truck mad about it.
Yeah.
I just haven't because, even when I'm out there, I'm looking around, I'm checking out the scenery and, who knows, maybe that day I saw a muskrat and I thought that was cool, or the biggest turtle I ever saw came up and stuck his head up. There's so many things that just, that are associated just with the environment of fishing. And,
well, I'm glad you say that because, if I miss a 2 or 3 or 4 foot putt, I'll look at my putter and say, you're dead to me.
And I will say this, I am such a bad golfer. I have never one time hit a shot and it gone really bad and then me look at the club and go, that was your fault.
Yeah, but my putter,
you're dead to me. Yeah. No, I've always taken full responsibility for my bad golf
Yeah.
shots, not my equipment.
Well, all jokes aside, I think you're 100% right. It's, it's at the end of the day, it's you. If I remember when we were saying the reason I went and got fitted. I got fitted for my swing, and now it's just time for me to go out there and practice and dial it in.
Yeah. You've got the equipment, you've got the right equipment, you've got everything you need.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people might use that excuse early on. Like, well, these things are not fitted for me. This is too long, or this is not right degree. I think it's just.
I'm sure to an extent, better equipment would make a better golfer to begin with.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, once you get to a point, you've got the right equipment and you've got what you need. It's just down to you trying to get an entire body, a human body, to do the same exact thing repeatedly over and over. And to me, that's a frapping miracle.
That's a lot, and the only way you can do that is, I know it sounds ridiculous, but go out and hit 500 golf balls a day.
Yeah.
Muscle memory. As long as you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
If you know how, if you practice and you don't want to practice wrong.
Well, but here this is devil's advocate on that. I have seen some really good golfers with really, really, really messed up swings that you would think, holy crap, there ain't no way they're going to hit that ball.
Right.
I had a guy with one arm beat me senseless on the golf course.
Probably hit it right down the middle.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute, that everything says that you got to do this, and that dude's just like whack.
Yeah.
And but he had, and I guess to the point, once you get a repeatable swing, then would be the time, if you're like, well, my swing ain't going to change and I can't, I hit I need to putt with my driver and, I'm actually hitting, off the tee with my wedge. Just, you may have to alter the equipment to match your screwed up swing.
Yeah. Well, they say, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what your swing looks like. Mm-hmm. As long as you come back on plane.
Yeah.
You come back.
If it's the same thing, same thing every stinking time, you can deal with that.
You can start way out or you can start way in, but as long as that, you're back at like square and on plane. But
well, and I know that you've done this too. You've played with people who play their negative ball flight.
yes.
Like, somebody's like, well, I always push it to the right real hard. So, you see them on the tee box and they're aiming over here. It's like, what are you doing? Like, well, I hit it that way, but pretty soon it's going to fade back over and it'll be where I need it to be. So, there are people who have just learned to play
what
they get.
You say that even professional golfers, when they go out and, hit the range before tournaments and practice, and I've started noticing this here lately. If whatever my swing is that day, if my swing has a baby fade or a stronger fade,
First time I've heard of that term.
baby fade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Banana fade is usually what something that's going to come back around and hit you in the back of the head in a minute. Just give it
boomerang.
Give it time. It'll come back.
It'll come back. But yeah, they say whatever their swing is that day, if they are drawing the ball or if they pushing the ball,
They take that into account.
That's what they play.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a golfer, you're playing yourself, basically. 100%. You are playing your abilities.
Yeah.
Yes, the course has a lot to do with it. But, you use the slopes and you can see everything out there that it's going to do.
Yeah.
Little fish down there, he's in charge. I mean, you can throw stuff at him all day long, and that little pea-brained fish, it basically determines everything.
That is pretty smart.
No kidding. And they actually have said that some fish, get caught multiple times.
Mm.
It's not like, that they learn from their mistakes. And then some people actually say, well, yes, they actually learn if they've been catch and release. And that there was actually, they tried to do a study one time to see if fish could really remember being caught and put back, and that, some fish developed this aversion to a certain bait presentation.
Oh, wow.
So, they do learn,
Yeah.
even though they got little pea heads there.
Well, I remember with Kelly, it was always, if there was a lot of fishermen and a lot of have been caught on South Holston. I can only speak of South Holston. If a lot of them's been caught, then it may not be a good day fishing because a lot of times fish are not going to get caught twice.
Yeah.
Within a day.
Yeah.
Maybe the next day. Yeah.
The thing I always wondered is when you're at these tournaments, and I noticed that there was the one tournament at Observation Knob, they have a fish sliding board.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, when people bring when these tournaments come in, they just weigh the fish and then they put them in this little sliding board that shoots them back out in the water.
So you think the fish is like, hey, Fred, let's get caught.
We get to go on a slide. We get to go on a slide. What I wondered is why all these fishermen take off like a bat out of hell getting away from the place that they put all the fish.
Just put the fish in, yeah.
I mean, to me, I'd never leave. I'd stay right there.
Yeah.
Might frown on that.
Well, I think also, let's look at pressure. We'll just kind of hit the highlight of pressure on both sports. A golfer may say, can you hit a draw or a fade on command?
Mm.
A fisherman might say, can you skip a jig under a dock? Kind of without snagging it. I think it's kind of two different pressures. It's kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong. If I need to hit a draw on command, that's because that's what the course needs me to do.
Right.
On the lake, I don't have to skip a jig under the dock.
It would be, and you do that. You look at that, and as a fisherman, you look out there at that dock, and you see, maybe it's a sunny day, and there's shade under there, and you're like, man, if I can just skip it underneath the dock and get it way up in there, that fish is going to see it.
It's probably going to be there.
But the thing is, if you think about it in related terms, if you cast right beside this dock, you're only talking a difference of about 3 feet. And if that fish can't see 3 feet, he's probably not going to bite anyway.
Yeah,
unless you hit him on the head and he gets mad.
Yeah, then he's going to just, I'm going.
I'm leaving. I'm not going to do a thing. I've actually played around with bass that are on the nest.
Yeah.
And I have, they will pick up a bait and move it out of the nest and drop it back outside the nest and then come back and sit on the nest. It's the coolest thing to see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I think, with, I'm not sure how long we want to talk. We still have a little beer review to do, but, I think at the end of the day, golfing and fishing have traits, that can translate, the field, analytic thinking, patience, but, but it'll humble you immediately, and probably that's why we love both. We love fishing, we love golfing, and that's why we keep coming back. I think if we always joke about on 18, if you hit a birdie on 18, well, that's what keeps me coming back. I guess with fishing, let's say you do catch one, right, it's like, well, I'm gonna do one more cast, and you catch one. That's the things that kind of get you to come back.
I think too, it's how much it means to you as a hobby instead of, I want to be a great golfer. If you go out there with the mindset of I'm going to be outside today. You know, it's going to be warm. I get to play around with this cool little electric cart.
Yeah.
You know, I get to hit the ball. You know, my buddies are going to be with me, and, you know, we may take a BR, and, you know, we may just have a good time.
Yeah, we're outdoorsmen.
Or if you go out there with the mindset, you know, if I don't at least bogey every hole, I'm going to throw these clubs in the lake.
Right.
And there are some people that do that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's all about the score. It's not about what you're doing. And you can do the same thing with fishing. You know, you can go out there and you can sit there and you can concentrate on nothing but throwing, you know, putting the bait where you want it, putting the lure where you want it, doing all this kind of stuff, and just forget everything around you.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you're laser focused and you're miserable if you don't
Yeah.
catch anything.
Yeah, I can see. You know, we'll probably talk about our buddy several times. You know,
We've got some great stories.
He was a recreational fisherman with a
With a professional bass tournament mentality.
That's right.
Yep. I mean, he was go getting them when you're out there fishing bass, buddy. You're fishing.
Well, you know, I've said this before. I was always on the back of the boat, and he's already fished this whole cove.
Yeah.
And I've only threw 2 or 3 casts.
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, shoot, there's nothing here. Let's
Nothing
go to
here.
the next."
And you hadn't even made it to the good spot yet.
Wait a minute, maybe my bait might hit the fish on the head, and let me
Yeah.
have a chance.
Yeah, and that is, and I've noticed this too. The newer boats, you know, they have this huge platform on the front, and if 2 people are fishing, they both go to the front.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that several times, just seeing boats out there where both the fishermen, instead of one of them being at the back, they're both standing on the front of the boat.
Right.
And to me, that just seems, I don't know. I mean, I have hard enough time not throwing my lure in the front of the boat or sitting in the back of the boat.
You know, the only time I remember going on the front of the boat with Kelly was like, you know, going into these coves, you know, that way we can both hit both sides of the bank. You know, other than that, you know, darn Kelly was vicious about casting, man. God, Monty, he was.
Yep, it was always fun. That is for sure.
But I think you know, deep down, you know, I don't think necessarily we want to dominate our hobbies. You know, I feel like we just want that challenge. I'm speaking on the golf side. I want that challenge, you know, to get better. You know, we want that pure shot, you know, the iron shot, or you know, something like that. You know, we want hope, and you know, and hope's undefeated.
That's true. You know, I guess too, you're thinking about the perfect shot. That's the thing. If you're golfing, you can hit this beautiful, perfect shot, and it just gives you this euphoric feeling inside. You can make the most beautiful, perfect cast in the world, and that sucker ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah,
You're going to reel it back in, and you're going to just throw it again.
do it again.
Throw it again. So, yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun if I didn't like that shot? I'm going to reel that ball back in.
I'm going to reel it. I didn't like
hit
it.
it again.
You know, I remember that makes me think of these professional golfers that can stop their swing like halfway through. Like if they hear a noise or somebody in the gallery, you know, coughs or farts or something, you know, they just like hit.
Yeah, that's tough.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, when you're backswing, yeah,
Maybe.
coming back down and you know full swing. I've seen people do it, and man,
I know it's like cutting your pee off in midstream.
I've done that.
I know you have. I've been there. That's a story we got to tell.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, I think
I think it's about time to drink.
dude, that was. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, this has
that.
been a kind of a weird one.
It was a weird one.
We went, like I said, we went through the first 30 minutes and we looked down and we weren't recording. So hopefully we got it on different camera.
Yeah. I think you know we had a layout tonight, you know, to talk about. And we always wing it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. We get this. I mean, look at this. We got these beautiful sheets. They're highlighted. They got colors on them, and then we just forget about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you are, but, you know, when we are talking, when we're thinking about what we want to speak that week on our podcast,
Yeah.
you know, I'm always concerned we'll get down there and we'll just have to look at each other.
We'll have to look at it. No, I don't think we're ever going to have that deal. I mean,
so I always come up with these things, these ideals, and write stuff down. And like I said, we have 6 pages, and
And we hit a couple of spots.
yeah,
on
we,
them.
we did.
Yeah.
But I think next time I want to do. I love fishing terms using golf, and then golf terms using fishing.
See, now that's the thing. There are so many wonderful golf terms. I don't think there's that many fishing
Well,
terms.
I think and there is, but I think it's kind of like more of like just a joke, just kind of a funny thing. But
Sure, we can do that. And the other thing, speaking of funny things, is I talked to Gene about this a little earlier. I think we should do a little contest. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be rock, paper, scissors for all I care. But the loser has to wear a hat picked out by the winner through the beer review. And I think we should do that.
I think it's a great idea. That's
So how do you want to do the first?
that's growth.
Yeah,
Weird.
we're growing. I thought at first you said that's gross. Well, and then I got the th at the end.
That's my French.
Yeah, growth. All right. So what do we say? Rock, paper, scissors.
We're gonna do it tonight.
Yeah, we got to do the first contest tonight so that next time it'll already be
Okay.
done. We'll do another contest next time. But
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, shoot.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
I got Jesus. What do you got?
I've got fire.
Oh, Jesus beats fire all the time.
He wins.
I win the first one. Oh man, if I'd have thought about that and had water, that'd be good.
That would be good.
Rain. Okay, I can tell these contests are going to be really good.
Too
Hey.
bad. Hey. You hear that?
I hear that. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Beer
Beer review.
review.
No hype, no script, just what we find. 2 guys, 1 beer, 2 states of mind.
All right, guys, we are back.
Yay! And we have beer.
We have beer. So tonight we are reviewing Sour Monkey Sour Triple.
Ta-da!
And I know
Sour
that,
monkey.
and I know that you are a sour, but this one may have a little more tart.
Oh, it's a triple.
Yeah.
And I know that means something, but I don't have a clue.
Dude, this is 9.5
So we get to drink 5 of these?
ABVs.
Oh, okay. So what does this say? It says Sour Monkey, Sour Triple, tastefully tart, pucker up as Sour Monkey's swirling citrus notes and lemony bite bring a complex essence to elevate your
It
experience.
says like a candy-like sweetness with a dry finish.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. So, yeah, let's.
Ready?
Yep.
Unranked.
Unhinged. All right. Okay, so you guys might be wondering why we have a black or a pad of paper behind us. This is what I'm going to try to write down our terms that we use for these beers, and maybe our review. Then we can kind of have a standard. So first off, you can see that the beer is absolutely crystal clear see-through.
Oh man, it is absolutely clear.
So what would you call that, Gene? As far as the clearness?
Clean.
Clean? Okay.
Yeah, I would say it was clean because it's not hazy.
All right. I like clean. It's a good term. So that clean basically means it's not cloudy.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
All right. So the next thing we usually do is smell it. It smells like beer. And
So I think it almost smells like a Belgian.
see, now to me, they all smell like beer, except the ones that we've had that have had something added to them,
Okay.
like the mango.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could really smell
Yeah.
that one we had last week. You could really smell the fruit.
The orange. Yeah. The
So-
citrusy.
So what do we want to say is smell?
I think it's almost.
Scent?
It's almost like it's. I know they say it's like a funk.
A funk? Now, to me, when you say that, I can usually smell when a beer has a whole lot of hops in it, and that kind of smells funky to me.
So yeah, what did you say?
When, which, where, what?
The smell.
The smell to me just smells like beer. I mean, it's just got a normal smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that there's nothing added to it.
Sure. Nothing to the smell. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put smell.
I can go with that.
I hope I spell these things right because y'all are going to laugh at me if I don't. Okay, so next is as far as the head,
There's not much retention.
is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Retention.
It's called head retention.
Head. I'm gonna put head. Just because I like that word.
Yep.
Okay,
Ready?
I'm ready.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
Wow.
Okay, I know a term,
All right.
and that's I think the first thing we were going to do was whether or not it's fizzy. Like if
Fizzy.
it's got a lot of
Carbonation.
carbonation. So I'm going to put fizzy down.
Okay. It is fizzy.
Yes, I would consider this a fizzy beer. Because, I mean, it hits you and you want to burp real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I do this, but I've always done this, and people say I look like a toddler drinking out of a sippy cup. Now, the next term that I
see,
want-
I taste almost like a Belgian like. And that's where I feel like that funk
okay.
comes from. Just because, and the only reason I say that because I'm not particularly big on Belgian beers.
Okay.
And it's probably just the yeast or something that they've used, but there is a little, I don't know, I'm not sure how to describe that.
See,
It's not as tart. As,
no,
as
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
as I was expecting. And
And-
it's almost like not sour.
Yeah, to me, it is more like a goza than it is a real sour.
Right.
But and the thing that I notice is it's dry. And when I say dry, it's like when you taste champagne and it's very say it or wine and it's got that dry feeling that it almost feels like your tongue dries out. This has a lot of that. So what do you want to call that? I guess we could call it dryness.
Dryness, yeah.
I don't know how to
maybe
spell dryness.
close enough.
Close enough.
And maybe that's that green apple.
Oh, is that what's in there?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe that's that green apple that
Green
I'm
apple. Where did you see that? You got me. I didn't see that anywhere.
that's it's kind of a notes, like the notes that a flavor profile
Yeah.
has almost like a green apple, lemon.
Yeah. So, as far as I guess primary taste would be to me beer, which is
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
it
has
tastes like a beer.
It has to be. It's almost like a. I know this is going to sound wild, but it's like a Goza ale.
Yeah.
like
I can get the ale out of this.
yeah,
And then, like you said, then it ends in something that's I know they keep saying tart, but to me it's more dry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You got dryness.
so as far as
Let me see if I don't know. There's something on that back end.
I get a little bit of almost spicy, when I first drink it, and it doesn't taste. It just tastes a little spicy, and I don't know how I describe that other than it just, like you've had a little pepper in it,
Yeah.
and so let's do.
And maybe it's because of the high ABVs. That's 9.5.
Okay. Sorry. I put primary and secondary. So primary taste to me is just kind of the beer, and you said it's more like an ale or a Belgian.
It's like a Belgian ale.
Okay.
It's because it's almost used. It's probably used some kind of Belgian yeast,
Okay.
and it kind of gives you that Belgian profile.
So yeah, and to me that's the beer taste.
Yeah, and
So-
that's probably where it's coming from.
Yeah, and you're getting more. You've got more precise tastes than I do, but I get the primary as a beery taste.
Yeah.
The secondary to me is dry, and I know they keep talking about tart, but I don't know if that's the word I would use.
It almost tries to be. I know it does. It finishes dry.
Yeah.
But at the front end, it's there is a little bit of tartness, and I think it's where that lemon citrusy profile tries to come in.
Okay.
But other than that, it's tough.
It is. It's a tough beer to.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I could sit and drink this, and
Yeah.
and considering the alcohol content, I would be off my rocker by
Yeah.
about 2. So
See if you get that lemon bite. See if that maybe where some of that bite.
that may be that secondary kind of tapering toward the finish
Yep.
that I get is lemon or citrus of some sort.
Yep. I'm right with you.
So I get beer, then I get kind of a spicy lemon, and then I go dry.
It finishes dry, dude. I think that's it.
So, yeah. Hey, I think we did pretty good. So next time, what we'll do is we'll write those out, and then we'll follow the same thing,
All right.
and that way we'll kind of know
I like it.
what we do.
So I will. And I'll let you go since it's not a sour. I know it says sour monkey, and maybe. So I'll let you start with the overall performance.
Okay. Overall, if I was, let me say, I think we should say where we would drink this.
Okay.
Um,
Put that on there too.
yeah, location. And we may change some of these
Yeah.
afterwards, but as far as where I would drink this beer, this isn't a beer that I would like take to the lake and
No.
have 12 of them
No.
in there. It's not that. This is something that I could see drinking this with steak. Like if you were having dinner, this is not an early beer. This is kind of
It's a meal.
a meal.
Meal dinner beer.
A dinner
maybe?
beer. Yeah. So I would drink this at dinner
Yeah.
with something that had a lot of fat in it,
That's
like a big steak.
Yeah, that's a great point because food pairing it may enhance, some
Yeah.
kind of food may enhance, whatever we had tasted in this beer.
Yeah. So yeah, to me, To me, this is a dinner beer. You know, I don't think I would drink it anywhere else, and I
Yeah.
think it would, you know, it would go good with food.
Yeah. You know, that was tough for me. I don't know. I'll agree with you. I think it would be a dinner beer, but if it was, I don't have a location, unless it was just on tap and, you know, we were hanging out somewhere and
Yeah.
that's.
But
probably-
even if we were, I think I could. One would be about enough. It fills you up really fast.
It does. It really does.
So yeah.
Well,
And as far as stars, I don't know. I give it multiple stars, and I would drink it. I told you where I would drink it, so
yep.
it would be a great beer for that. I didn't. Oh, beer face. I didn't make sour beer face,
That's right.
so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I will say that it doesn't have a lot of hops, bitterness. We didn't write bitterness on there. I don't consider this bitter at all.
No, definitely not. I think I'll get multiple stars as well. I like it. I would drink it with a meal at a bar
Yeah.
somewhere. But yeah, that's a good choice, I think, tonight. That was
Yeah,
good.
that was very good. Good choice, Gino.
Yep.
All right, multiple stars for the Sour Monkey Triple.
Yep. Well, dude, I like it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Cheers again, buddy.
Thanks,
Even
man.
though we're empty,
Yeah.
that was a
Cheers.
good choice for the Sour Monkey, and
We
love you guys.
thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're actually going on the road sometime soon.
Yep.
Stay tuned for our location. Enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot out of this tonight, or just a little bit.
I hope you
Just
didn't
a
get
little.
anything out of it. I hope you just tried.
Well, just entertainment. How about
Yeah, entertainment.
Entertainment.
I hope that you, if nothing else, you were just over there going, "Those guys are nuts,"
And that's what we like.
and that's what we like because we are unranked.
And unhinged. Till next time.
Crack a cold one and tee it high. Lines in the water and the sun in the sky. Missed the green, lost the lure. Bad ideas, yeah, we got more. Golf carts bumping, fish are jumping. Beers are cold and the stories are coming. Brains on pause, spirits up.